Okay, hello everybody. Welcome back to the channel. I am Vormithrax, and we're going to continue playing my Shadow Empire game in progress. It's been 4 days since I last played, so I'm going to have to reacquaint myself with my position, just what's going on. And, yeah, I know we had kicked off some fun stuff to our north. We've got all 3 of our army groups up there. We just finished taking the first city from this major. I'm pretty sure it was just an outlying minor that he had conquered, though. So now we're on a desperate hunt for his capital, so we can get him eliminated. But the fact that that wasn't his capital is a bit of a problem, because I'm not going to get an instant, quick encirclement like we just did. So that fight's going to be a little more drawn out than I was anticipating, and I might need to get some more units up just to protect my border in case he decides to get squirrely and run some folks down around the corner. So, we'll get that spread out, but, yeah. So I'll first do a recap or a relook at all my current statuses, make sure I understand what my position is and logistics and all that. And then we'll start rolling some more turns. So, we just finished up the previous turn. We got 9 decisions to make. As I said, this is the fight we're currently engaged in. There is his city we just took. We lined up on the border, swarmed across with all 3 army groups, got us around, and managed to take it in the first turn. And he's got a few outlying units, and I don't have a faintest idea what the rest of his area looks like. I have been totally unable to get any spies planted in his area, largely because I don't yet have the spy council. So we don't have very good numbers on trying to get spies in, and we're not getting the cards for getting extra spies. So that's a problem. I need to fix that as quickly as I can. Now that we've got our upgrades done on our initial military units, I can start to look into setting up some more councils and try to fix that problem. I've been trying to avoid that so I wouldn't dilute out my bureaucratic point pool. Back home, our capital city, right there, Neutron Head. Pretty fun name. We've got another city to the south, a minor that we conquered, Pyro Point, who's turning into a heavy hitter now that he's got 3 metal mines. 3 metal mines! That's ridiculous. So Pyro Point has gone from what I thought was going to be a not very useful southern polar cap area to being hugely important in our ongoing war. Here's the larger map. We'll zoom out a bit. So I'm in a pretty good position strategically. We own and or control all of this, of course. We know there's nothing over here out to the water's edge. There's no way to cross over to me via any of these via land bridge. So I've got a solid border to my east with no worries. Looks like we might have a similar setup to the far west. There is a minor right up in here, but I don't think there's anything up this way. I haven't been able to extend roads and send units out far enough to fully map that in yet. But I think this is all empty land. And I'm not sure from what it looks... Well, there might be a land bridge connection right there to some other larger areas. So we will want to take care of that eventually. But we have a minor here, a minor up here, and then the major there. So we're hitting the major first. Take him out, and then we'll go eat up these little miners that are nearby. The map goes up that far. That's the northern edge of the map, but it does scroll east to west for folks that are new to the game. Here we go. You can see just how large the world is, what I've seen and haven't seen yet. So that's kind of the situation we're in strategically. Fairly good. No idea what's up further here, but finish the major, go after the miners, secure this whole area, and we'll have more resources than I've ever dealt with before. I'm already getting to the point where we're about as far into the game as I've gotten. Time-wise, I've gotten a little further, but advancement-wise, we were much, much more efficient in our initial building and upgradings this time, just from learning the game a little better and knowing where the important benchmarks are. So, that's kind of where we're at. Let's do a little bit of investigating so I can remind myself. I'll do the decisions once we've checked a few things, but I want to know my logistics bottlenecks, if any. So we're good down to the south. I have a few roadblocks in to cut off some of the logistics flow that I don't need. I do know that for things like this, the assets I was trying to figure out last time we played just how much I needed in this northern mine that we were doing, because we've got a level 2 mine now, and if we switch to traffic signs mode and we click on it, actually that won't show it. Right here. Yeah, right here. It says asset needed 200 LIS points. LIS points are logistics points. That's truck points. In order for it to operate at peak efficiency, I finally found the actual rule. It's 100 points per level of the asset. So a level 2 mine needs 200 truck points or LIS points present at the beginning of the turn when it lays out the network in order for it to fully produce and deliver those materials to your network. So if you have a shortage, then you only get a portion, whatever percentage portion of the output. So we had that couple of turns where I made a mistake in my logistics setup, and I was starving my mine. It didn't have enough truck points, and we were only getting partial production out of it. So be aware of that. If you're not getting full production, if you take a look at your mine and you see that it's got bad numbers here, then click on it and look for the info in here to see how many truck points you're supposed to have. And then using these options for your logistics, you can say initial points right here. Click on initial points, and we can see we had 395. So receive 378 and receive 13. And receive 2 and 2. But 395 is what we've got. So we've got twice as much as we need to currently flowing into the mine. So that leaves us some room for growth. So I'm okay there. But that's the rule. It's 100 points per asset level. And you just got to make sure you keep an eye on that as you upgrade your assets, that you have that under control. So that was good to finally figure out. And it's back up again. So back to bottlenecks. So like I said, we've got a few of these little red signs and colored symbols, blocks are cutting off the flow of supplies to various locations, because I needed to maximize my truck points to the north and make sure we've got plenty up there. Even after all of the beginning of turn expenditures, we're still looking at a massive amount. Oops, I need to cut that off. I got 2,000 points flowing to nowhere here. So we're going to go to this one, and we're going to say cut off 95%. All right, so that'll chop off that little block there. We won't have 2,000 points flowing into a little dead-end spot. I'm going to let these ride. And if we preview the points, we can see next turn there's only going to be 188 going that way, and we'll have almost 4,000 flowing into our main pipeline to keep our trucks and our units well supplied. So we are a ways away from our homeland here, our capital and our SHQ. So I got to make sure this pipeline does not get cut by the enemy, and we can keep everybody well supplied. So yeah, so logistics between these, once you know what they do, it's pretty easy and pretty simple to set up these basic logistics lines and to verify you've got what you need in various places. So 400, 300, 300. Anywhere I've got mines, I just want to make sure I've got enough points flowing into them. So we got 300 and some. And we got 2 more mines to make over here. So logistics looks good. I don't think I need to fiddle with the logistics anymore. We just put in that one stop sign to make sure the flow is nice and strong there. So no problem with logistics. Move back to our general map. All right, units. We got almost nothing to the south. We just got one militia sitting on the pyro point. We've got another militia. We are just going to park on this mine. These 2 guys are kind of dipping in and out. He doesn't need supply, so he can walk around, and he's just going to kind of slowly work through this area. I don't need him up north. And this is just more of a fast mover militia unit. He's about at the extent of his logistics line to actually help explore, unless I push a road all the way out there. I do need to get a road going up to these mines at a minimum, so we'll look at that here in a bit as well. That's about it. I don't think I have anybody else to the south. I just got a couple of minor militia units, and I got a couple of the sentinel bots kind of stomping around and checking out the map. Every single other unit I own is up here in the fight. So I got 3 complete army groups up here and a few independents. Generally, the independents are just these militia units that I use just to fill in gaps so we can do encirclements, as well as provide some artillery support. We've got some actual artillery, so we've got 4 units, independent units of artillery, full-on artillery. Right there, independent artillery with mechanized or motorized artillery. We got haulers and we got howitzers. And then we've got 3 army groups, red, blue, and green. We look at our order of battle. Infantry, we've got red, blue, and green. All three kind of intermixed up here right now. But they're fully upgraded, so they've got fancy gear. We got them into automatic rifles and combat armor. The problem I have is my major opponent up here is not quite as well equipped as me, so I'm a little nervous about how this fight's going to go now that I've kicked it off with a surprise attack, and I'm wondering how he's going to respond. So getting an eye on the map is my most critical thing I need to do, and swarm his troops and try to take some more cities, ideally his capital if I can find it. So that's the plan. We'll move our units kind of last. It is our turn, so he did a general pullback after we did our swarm maneuver. Let's see, resources. Let's talk resources. So we're still doing really well on food. We're basically maxing out our food supply. Same with water, same with oil. We've got no problems there. Plenty of ammo. We've got a pretty massive amount in my game experience of metal coming in. I've never had anywhere near that much metal. And a decent amount of IP as well. So we've got some options. I don't think I have anything building currently. Manage assets. So they're building a town customs. I'm not building anything currently. I've got nothing queued up right now in Neutron Head. Pyro Point. Same thing. They're building a police station. By they, I mean the private economy is building. Vormithrax, this is the new location we just conquered. So luckily, we got industry. We got light industry. And a couple of happiness ones. And the BP office. That's always great. And then computing node. Computing node's the new one we set up to our east. We created our own brand new city. It's going to take a while for it to grow and develop any. So we'll see how well that does. It's my first built city, meaning I actually selected it on the map and told it to build a city there. So it's a new experience, seeing how that grows and expands as time goes by. But that's it right there, computing node. Let's actually look at the city info. So super happy population, extremely high happiness. We need to get the workers a little bit more happy, get them some jobs, but we don't have any fear or danger to worry about. Same thing here, essentially. Extremely high and high. Pyro points is, it's working its way up, and again, we have negligible amounts of problems. So all of our cities that we have controlled for a while are in pretty good shape and are growing. And, of course, the new one is going to take a little bit of holding on to and converting as time goes by. Alright, so cities are all in good shape. Let's take a look at our decisions. There are a pile of them. So you can preview the decisions. You don't have to do them in order. You've got tabs for the types of decisions, and you can look at all of them and then decide and finish them in whatever order you want. So it is asking me for a new org. We can do the Secret Service, so I can start getting those spies out. I'm leaning heavily in that direction. That's my big weakness right now, is intel on the regions around me. Especially that major. I desperately need to get some spies into that guy. Military priorities. It's rebudgeting time, so most of these decisions are budget-oriented. Yeah, all of this stuff is just budgeting and such. Zone decisions. We've got a worker strike, an ancient underground complex, so an alien or an ancient AI, and then a governor for the new city. Alright, so we only have one negative, just the major worker strike in Vormithrax. Well, we'll stomp that out. Actually, we'll pay them off. we'll go the diplomacy route, but let's go ahead and just start from the front. So, set the national budget. What do I want to... Who do I want to take money from? I think I might start slowing down my military research. It's proceeding faster than I can take advantage of it currently. I think I'm going to drop that a little bit. Drop it down to 20. Same with model design. Drop that to 15. And I think we'll leave the rest the same.
We'll go.
Poor Eric didn't like me dropping his budget. Oh, that's another thing. So let's look at our happiness of our folks. So personnel overview, relationship. I like hundreds. Big, big, big bonuses. When you're over 50, you get bonuses. When you're under 50 relationship, you get malices. So, hundreds are good. Page 1 is all good. Page 2, or at least 90s, high 80s. Age 3, 80s and 70s, and even the lowest is only a reserve pool new member at 58, so... Actual working folks, 76 is my low. That's actually pretty good. So we're doing pretty good in keeping our folks happy. And our factions, we've got 3 now. We still got Superior Army. It keeps winning the vote. That's not too bad, I guess. Fist, Commerce, and Meritocracy. At least it's got 2 out of my 3 factions that are profiles that I lean towards. I'm happy with. Yeah, they've all got at least something connected to my profiles. Alright, it's back to decision time. So, new advisor. That's right. I gotta figure out a use for these advisors. No, see, I don't understand when you get advisors that have no skills. What are they supposed to advise on? It boggles my mind. The whole point of advisors is that they're supposed to be better than the person you attach them to at whatever. Well, if you have absolutely no skills, how are you advising? Every advisor I've seen in the last few games has been just total trash, no skills whatsoever. So what exactly are they advising on? I don't understand that. I think advisors need to look at. that doesn't make any sense to me. And they only gain skills by actually making the skill checks. But if they're not better than the person they're advising, they're never going to make... Oh, wait. No, that's not how it works. Advisors allow a role in addition to the person who makes the normal role, and then the higher of the 2 is taken. So I guess they can advise and can get better. I hope they get XP for making the role, even if you don't take their advice. I'm not sure. I'll assign the advisors to somebody just so I can see how it works, but it just boggles my mind that every advisor I've seen has had just no skills. I mean, zeros. Hey, she can advise on bribery and streetwise. Still doesn't sound like anything I would attach somebody to for that purpose. But, yeah. Alright, we're going to make you an advisor. You're going to be a bribery and streetwise advisor, apparently. So, we're going to go ahead and appoint her. Bring her happiness up. She was the one most unhappy with me anyway.
Roger that.
So, plus 30 for the happiness, and we've got a second advisor. So, try to remember to get those advisors assigned. Alright, new org. I am going to go Secret Service. That's the one that makes me the most nervous. I'd like to do Interior, but I'm going to go Secret Service.
We'll go.
Next round, we'll be able to set budgets and director and all that. Military research priorities. Let's keep dialing this down. Let's go to 70 or 3070.
Roger that.
All right. I forget exactly what designs we've got. Management, models. So we've got the upgraded infantry. We've got the upgraded machine gun. We've already fully upgraded everybody we had on those. We've got the Hauler 2 trucks. I don't think I've done anything with the buggy. The Blitzer is newly researched. So are the speed runners, howitzers, and the medium tank. Those are all brand new. And I haven't done any research that's going to increase their capabilities from what I remember. Alright, so... get an anti-tank gun, just in case we run into some armor from this guy. And we'll go big, 180 with combat armor. Alright, OOB operationalization. I love that word. That's a fun word to say during live streams. Operationalization. Let's see. Heavy machine gun infantry army. Motorized machine gun infantry army, assault and siege. Let's do the motorized.
Copy that.
Alright, major worker strike. So, 80% of the workers in Rurak are about to start striking. So, that's these guys. That's the new place we just took over. Who have I got in the space? All I've got is my artillery in the space? Well, that's not going to do. We're going to move some troops in. Let's have the green army sit on it for a turn. We'll let blue and red kind of fan out and a little perimeter defense and push our scouting forward. We'll let green sit on these guys for a few rounds to help pacify the population. So we'll do group move and get all of them in there. Now that we've got them all in there, we'll get off a group move before I forget. Now that I've got them sitting on the space, now I'm going to make this decision. We shouldn't have any kind of a problem when we do the give in to their demands. If I did autocracy and we used force, having troops on the space would be important. So, what are our profiles? Actually, I didn't look. So 62, 55, 72. Super happy, satisfied, not happy. I want 60s minimum, 70s bonus. And unfortunately, autocracy is way too damn high. So I can't afford to do the autocracy. I do not want to let autocracy get anywhere near that. I want to raise democracy. So democracy is the dominant profile over autocracy. The arrows point to the dominance chain between the three. So meritocracy is dominant over democracy. Democracy is dominant over autocracy. What that means is it puts pressure on the other one in a downward fashion. And the bigger the disparity, if this one's higher, it's going to put more pressure on this and so on. So none of them can be more than 100. And even trying to approach 100 is extremely difficult. So right now, we've got more than 100, so I'm putting extra pressure for this one to lower so the number goes below 100. But I need to get democracy over top of autocracy, and of course raise meritocracy whenever I can. But we're going to spend 146 credits, 1 political point, and gain some democracy.
Wilco.
So now it's going to be 48 to 49. It's going to put a little more pressure to lower that silly autocracy score. All right, this one I've never seen before. Ancient Underground Complex in Pyro Point. Pyro Point is a badass place lately. I mean, I for sure thought it was just an empty subarctic territory initially, and now it's got 3 metal mines and oil fields and ancient Galactic Republic AI mainframes and all sorts of fun stuff. So I've never seen this event. In the ruins below Pyro Point, we found an intact underground complex. In it, we found an operative Galactic Republic grade AI mainframe. Softly bleeping while small red lights rapidly turn on and off. It is obviously still functional. What do you recommend? Talk to the AI, make an oratory roll that is guaranteed. We've got 53 minimum versus a difficulty of 46. That's going to give me mind, which is good. Make sure this AI doesn't talk to anybody, and that costs 2 PP. This is actually new. It didn't actually used to say the name of the symbol. You used to have to know the symbols or come point over here to remind yourself. But it's nice that this has been added in. I do have the new beta patch that just landed for the full release game, so that must have been added in. So we got enforcement and we've got government. Destroy the whole complex. I'm going to talk to the AI. I want to know what's going to happen. So we're going to say talk to AI.
Aye, sir.
So we got an 88 versus a 46. Gave a long discourse on high galactic ethics. Finally, the AI shared information that allowed our scientists to discover the quad machine gun. So we got a free technology. All right. I'm assuming that was like a one-time event. Maybe not. Maybe it'll keep happening over a period of time. Don't know. Never seen that one. Governor for Rorok. Well, this is going to be a bit of a problem. Cap 2, no skills. Cap 1, no skills. Ugh. Who else do I? Is that it? Is that my entire reserve? Yep, that's my entire reserve pool. Got 100 political points. Let's go to our Strat Cards Nation. I don't have the staff council yet, so I don't have the cards that allow for more competent leadership recruitment. So, let's go ahead and try at least one recruited junior. That didn't really help us much. Alright, we're not going to keep trying. We're just going to go ahead and put you in. It's much, much better to have somebody in, even if they're bad at the job. You take a massive negative for not having a leader in a leadership role. I think it's like 50% negative, as opposed to just being neutral if they don't have any real skills. So always throw somebody in if you can. So we're going to go ahead with Banshee Venusian. Alright, we're done with our decisions. So we moved one group. I've still got to figure out how we're going to sort out the other guys and then what kind of builds we're going to do this round. Let's look at the outlined ones first. Here, you. Keep stomping around in the woods. You. Let's see. So this is the heat map for supply. It's number 6 on the keyboard for the hotkey. And it shows how far out he can get full supply. So green is full supply, yellow and red are decreasing levels of supply, and then out of supply. And he's fast enough I could move him forward, do a little bit of scouting, and then pull back. But it's far enough out now that it's not really beneficial. I'm mainly just keeping him around on this area because there's a miner right here. And I want to have a couple of units in the area just in case this miner declares war on me. So I think I'm just going to retreat to the road. That's the important point to hold. So we'll just leave him there. Bring you back to sit on the mine. You're staying where you're at. We've got one more Romper Stomper robots. Just kind of moving up the coastline here. Hey, look at that. Wild Plate, or Wild Palace. That is the Ancient Luxury Resort. So, political points +1. I've seen this question on the forums several times now. People not knowing how to get information on a particular space, so they see something like that and they go, well, what does that symbol do? How do I know? The way you know is you click on it, and then we'll click on this one. There, assets. So we have assets selected. Normally when you're looking, you've got this one selected. So if I clicked on this space here, I see all of this stuff. It's a little hard to tell, but this one's lit up, which is the thing that you're pointing at. So this is kind of bright outline. And the other way to tell is if you click over here, this thing here will show you only the assets in the selected hex, instead of showing you all the assets in the zone that you happen to be clicking in. So if you want to know what the luxury brothel is, just click on that, and there's the luxury brothel, and so on. So that's how you know. Because if you click in a space that's got... See, I can't believe our starting area as big as it is. Well, no, we've got one there. Why aren't you showing? Yeah, we got 35 assets in this starting area. So it gets kind of lost in the shuffle. If you don't know to go look at the back end of the thing and see this one's lit up, and notice that the name is the same, Fuzzy Blower, it can be hard to actually figure out which one you're looking at so you can find out what it does. But just use this thing here. just click on this first one, and it'll show you only what's in the space you've clicked on. That's the easy way to do it. And you can click on it if you want more details on just exactly what it is and what the benefit is. So, that's what that is. We got the Ancient Luxury Resort. It's going to give us one extra political point per round. We don't actually have it yet. It's adjacent, but we need to move this onto this space because we didn't capture the space itself. That's the only reason he's really stomping around back here, is to find random stuff like this. And to make sure there's nobody else hidden back behind this nasty mountain range. I don't want to send any of my other units all the way over there. Alright, let's turn that off. Not moving, and only thing left is my main army. Let's look at some other things real quick. Strat cards. I gotta remind myself of what kind of strat cards. Gifts, contact, trade, limit aggression. For miners, not much for miners. Covert ops have only got the single spies available. Nation cards are mostly my fate cards, which I'm almost ready to go ahead and pop some of these fate cards. They're a little tricky once you got more than one zone, because they hit a random zone. You can't pick a zone that they go to, so you could kick off unrest in a place you don't have a good ability to suppress the unrest in, which is what I'm worried about. And I don't need any of these current positive ones. Headquarters. Profiles! Oh, I finally figured out how to remove these profiles. So how to use them is obvious. They're not a problem. You just pick the unit and you execute the strat on it, and it applies the stratagem to the unit. But how to get it back off again, I couldn't figure out for the longest time. So the way you do it is you go to the operational HQ for the unit. So there's my HQ. Hey now. HQ. And then you go to Unit Admin, and there's going to be an option on this screen for remove the stratagem. I don't see it currently because there isn't one on there, but I believe it appears when you have a stratagem on there. But that's how you get rid of it. So, back to stratagems. Alright, so I'm not going to apply any of these quite yet. We'll look at them here in a minute. Zones. A lot of zone cards we've piled up. High-tech vault. I still haven't done the high-tech vault. I think we'll wait on these for at least a turn so I can kind of get back into the swing of things, and then we'll launch them. Not worried about my leaders at the moment, and I don't need that either. Alright, so the big ones I see are, let's go ahead and launch another couple of covert op attempts. Target the guy we're actually currently going after. Bad Cow. The Bad Cow Imperium. We have 0 spies. That is my big problem. I don't know what his map looks like or how big this area is because we don't have any spies. But the problem is it's a 120 difficulty. I've only got a 23% chance of success.
Wilco.
Crit fail. Well, we're already at war, so I don't really care about the the downgrade in status.
Wilco.
And a second crit fail. Yeah, that's how this. Okay, I got those crit fails out of the way, so all my rolls from here forward are gonna be great. That's the way that works, right? I got that out of my system. All right, so how are we gonna do this? Green troops are sticking. We'll move the artillery up later. First things I want to move are my independent motorbike units. We got the speedrunners, recon of 7 and decent movement. They're going to get stopped by zones of control and such. So let's move you up this road first. Where's my other bike? Right there. I need some more of these bikes. I'm going to roll... Yes, this is a bike selected. I don't know why it's not highlighting there. There we go. Now it switched which one I have selected. There we are. We'll try to roll the bikes up on the outside edge, see if we can get around his units and do some exploring. I also have to keep an eye on, of course, the logistics. These guys are only at 72 readiness. That's a little dangerous. Alright, who else we got? That's the entire red group. That's just militia. That's just militia and my other bike. That's most of blue group and the rest of blue group, plus the GR units. I think I'm going to fan one of the armies out across the road thusly, one across this way, and we'll just try to sneak a few units around the edges to do some scouting. But I need to secure my supply lines. So this could get broken if he just moves a unit just across the border here and steps on the road. So I need to make absolutely sure I've got this. Oof. Yeah, this could be bad. I need a unit back this way too to sweep this direction because this guy actually controls. Ooh, he controls everything all the way over to the edge of the miner. He might have been about to try to go after that miner. He might actually have an army over here. That could be bad. I definitely need to get some more bikes up in this area. Alright, towards that end, let's run you back this direction. I need to check this area, and if nothing else, make sure nothing's sneaking up on my supply lines. Alright, so, blue group, let's get you fanned out this way. And there. 2 artillery units up into that group. And we'll send 2 artillery units over this way as well. Alright, so we got an army group and some artillery support. Army group and artillery support. We're going to try to bleed some of our fast units around the edges. Next turn, depending on what he does, we'll see if we can get any encirclements so we can eliminate the units. We got to leave the Green Army here to both regain readiness so I can have a fresh army ready to move up if anybody needs a replacement, as well as to keep the city pacified. My GR unit, this is the Galactic Republic Infantry, outfitted in high-tech Galactic Republic gear that we discovered. So, laser rifles and combat armor. These are my heavy hitters. Where do I want you guys? So, we have Truca, do we? Agricultural. What are you guys' stats looking like? Readiness is good. Not much in the way of entrenchments. Really bad readiness. No, I'm not going to try to hit him. Not after I've moved. We'll try to keep him on the move or see if he can reinforce. These guys are really poor readiness, which is this. Readiness value. Good morale. No, light entrenchment. We can easily push these if he doesn't bring reinforcements down. That's the big thing I'm curious about is he going to reinforce heavily? I'm just hoping I'm spread out enough that I can't, he doesn't get an end run, because if he just steps on this one link right here, almost my entire army is going to be out of supply. That's really dangerous. I might have to build another road or two just to try to maintain alternate supply options. But I think we've got enough distance and coverage that it'll prevent him from end running me. You picked it up? Yeah. It's, the logistics is tricky. I will say that the new manual, the manual I originally had was pretty incomplete. The manual that released with the game does a pretty good job of explaining logistics. It's still really dry, and I think it's easier to watch somebody explain it in a video, like I did in the last one. But the manual actually does a really good job of explaining it. I don't think it emphasizes a few important points, so I may still do a video, tutorial video, kind of giving real details on the logistics system and exactly how it works and how to check it and how to modify it and so on. Because it's a massively important part of the game. It's just massive. I can't overstress just how important it is to know the logistics system, understand what it's doing, because if you screw it up, you can be in a world of hurt, even though you might have a vastly superior army. So, yeah, I'm glad the explanation last stream helped you out on that. And hate everybody else that joined in as I've been getting back into the swing here and not paying attention to chat. Howdy, Billy Shark, and HR Pie, Mulladeath. And, of course, Fertile Creek. Welcome back, Fertile Creek. Yep, this is definitely a 4X. This is... It's a... I don't know how to explain it. It's a 4X with really heavy wargame elements. It's a fusion of the 4X genre and a Grog Nerds wargame, X game. So you got to kind of like both, and it's very complicated, but it makes sense once you burrow past the initial learning curve. All the information's available. It takes a while to understand what information is important and where it's at. So finding the info is pretty tough sometimes. Alright, so back to explaining our situation. So I've still got to move my other motorcycle and my GR units. But like I said, we're going to keep the Green Army in reserve. That's my my replacement army. So I can kind of try to leapfrog. I may try to hold a border with one army while I push with another, and then use the third army as a replacement group. So, or I might try to end run him, because encirclement is super important. I need to encircle enemies so they can't just fall back. the defensive slant of the game allows units to just take 1 or 2 unit losses and then pull the entire thing back. So you end up fighting it over and over and over and over again. So trying to get encirclements is really, really important and powerful. Plus you get combat bonuses for each hex side that you're attacking from with the same OHQ. Linear versus binary text? I guess so, but how many people that bought the game on the day of release have even encountered a linear tech yet? Where's the first linear tech in this tree? Because I don't think I have even ever hit a linear tech. Where is the first linear tech? Because, I mean, I don't know when you find your first one, but I don't think I've ever found one. You got one in 8 hours? All right. Which one was it? Do you remember? I guess it depends a bit on game world settings and difficulty and all that kind of stuff. Oh, the Applied Sciences Council? Yeah. So this Applied Engineering. There's a lot of AP, Applied Sciences Council in this group. Same thing over here. Oh yeah, a couple of things I wanted to mention. I did a long perusal of the manual, the new manual, and other than finding some problems and some issues, I found out that 100 logistics points per level for the assets, that thing I talked about earlier. Foot troops lose 30 readiness per 100 action points marched, but wheeled tracked only lose 10. So really, really big incentive to get your guys motorized transport instead of having them walk everywhere. They don't lose anywhere near as much readiness when they're on the march. So get them in those trucks if you can do it. And then the concentric bonus, meaning encircling and attacking a unit, you get up to a 200% bonus when 6 sides are being attacked from, and they are all from the same HQ. As soon as you mix up units from different HQs, the bonus drops. But if you can get an encirclement with all the units in the same OHQ, you can get up to a 200% bonus because they can coordinate the attack and such. And then finally, the other really big one that I learned is that you can attach independent units to the regular infantry units. So I'm going to attach my GR unit to one of these army groups, and he will then be able to get the OHQ officer bonuses on top of his already ridiculous bonuses. So, not sure which way I'm going to go yet. I might wait till next turn before I do the attachment. I do want to have these guys ready to go. I think... I wish I had some idea of where his main capital was. I'm gonna put him into the red group. Yeah, I'm gonna put him in the red group. All right, unit admin, change HQ. Oops, red group is first. So unit admin, change HQ, first machine gun. All right, there we go. He's now part of the first machine gun OHQ group. So if we look at the order of battle for red, we now have my GR unit attached to the army group, or the battalion. So now, he's going to, as long as he's in range of the headquarters, he will also get the headquarters bonuses and the encirclement bonuses. So that gives me an additional unit to provide encirclement and smash the units. Because usually you've only got 5 actual soldier units plus your headquarters, which I don't like to get my headquarters involved in the fights. So now I'll have actual 6 full units, not including the headquarters. I think you can only do 1 to 2 independent additions like that. Yeah, you want the devs to reduce the cost of laying road. I agree. I agree in one way. There's been a lot of back and forth in the beta, apparently, over the costs, and they want to make sure that mountains retain a distinctive issue in regards to movement and building. So there's some reasons why they're so high. My issue that I brought to Vic's attention that he agreed with and he's going to make the change for is when you have an existing dirt road, you don't get any cost savings for laying a sealed road over top of it. So, I mean, the leveling, the grading, the tunnels, and so on have already been done for the dirt road, but yet you have to pay the full cost for a sealed road on top of a dirt road location. So he's actually going to change it so that if you're laying a sealed road over top of a dirt road, you get a cost savings. So I don't know when that's going to go in, but that he already agreed with me on, and he's going to make that change at some point. So, but it's still going to continue to cost a huge amount of IP through mountains. So if you get a start where they put your beginner city, and I've had this recently, my beginner city was, for example, here. But the mountains went out as far as I could see in every direction. And there were no roads. My city was literally on top of a mountain. There were no roads going any direction. And that was my starting location. That is a QYY. Quit? Yes, I'm sure. Yes, I'm really, really sure. That is a QYY map gen. Just bail out of that map and go get yourself a different map. I can't stand maps that I get where I'm surrounded by mountains. Even if there's roads going through, I won't do it. It's just too big a hassle. So, but yes, it costs a lot on purpose. Now at this point, you don't notice it after a short while. I mean, I'm only 30 turns in, and we're looking at revenue of 1,500 iron or metal and almost 900 IP. So, I mean, I could push my way through a mountain at this stage, and this is going to go up dramatically again here pretty soon. So, but yeah, it's kind of intentional that they cost a lot just to keep them as useful choke points and barriers for movement to make the maps interesting. But there probably does need to be some tuning there and how much they cost. Any plans for Old World streams anytime soon? Yeah, I kind of fell to the wayside on Old World for a bit there. I'm trying to get back to my current game that I've got in progress. There have been some updates that I think changed the game quite a bit, so I'm not sure how that map is going to play out given the 2 or so updates that have occurred. I do plan to revisit, though. I want to at least for sure finish out that one game on the hardest difficulty to see if I can pull it off. All right, so we got my GR unit moved. We've attached him to the Red Army group. And then I still had a motorcycle there. So I got one motorcycle. Is going to try to do a little bit of independent scouting. I'm thinking of bringing this other bike back this way. Try to wrap around. Use these two to figure out exactly what's going on up here. Yeah, let's do that. Let's. This is forest. Let's hide him in the forest so he gets, he'll jump out and scan next round. And I think that's it. I think that's our movement. We got everybody in position that I want. Next round, if he's still on the border with me, we can try to do a surround and kill on any units, depending on just how much reinforcements we see. I haven't seen a serious force of his units yet, so he's got to have something somewhere. And like I said, these guys are just going to squat here and regain readiness and help suppress the pop, because we're at 1 and 0. Drop of 96, drop of 81. What? You guys didn't like being conquered? I don't understand. I think I just assigned Banshee Venusian. Love that name. This round... what assets do we have here? So we got good assets. We actually took it without having to shell it. I didn't have to drop any artillery on it, so we didn't damage any of the infrastructure, which was awesome. I was super happy about being able to take it without losing any of the infrastructure. So I mean, we picked up more industry, more BP, so that's all great. I'm not sure that I should do anything this round. I might just wait till next round before I start making adjustments. Yeah, we're gonna wait around. Alright, now the hard part. The thing I'm still struggling a bit with. I got more resources in this game than I've had in any of my previous games, and I'm hitting a bit of a roadblock because I haven't had this much before. And I don't know the most effective way to put it to use. I'm worried about my logistics for this fight up north, just in case I've vastly underestimated what he's got, and him stepping in and cutting off my supply. I can't really do much to improve it, though. You can see I've been dropping in sealed roads to increase the throughput of my logistics. Well, yeah, it's power. That I'm aware of. We're going to have a crash in my industry here pretty quick when we run out of power. My heavy power consumers are going to drop offline as soon as we run out of power. We do not have much in the way of power generation assets. Did we get any in this town, actually? I don't think we did. Nope, no power generation assets in this one. Oh, see? Geyser turbine right there. That's 100 energy. So if I have enough to survive the round and I can take the geyser, we're going to be okay. Everything's going to be fine. See? Look at that. We'll just take the geyser and that'll be 100 power. How does colonization work? So you tell the governor to recruit colonists, and then once you've got them recruited, if you go to the other town, there's a colonize button right here. So you click on the destination town and you click colonize, and then it'll ask you whether you want to send them as workers or send them as population. You pick how many. You have to have a certain number of points in your logistics and all that as well. So that's pretty much all it is. Yep, you can just make towns. I made this one. Computing node is... You said you watched the last episode. I made this one during the last episode. The only restriction is you've got to have some kind of an asset there. So I built an asset there. I think I built the... I don't remember what I built. I don't remember. Probably the agriculture. But have an asset there. You can either do it when you go to build the asset on the location. There's a checkbox you can do to say create new zone. Or just get the asset built, and then over on the side you can click New Zone, and that'll create the zone, and it'll use that city as the city center. Now, I purposely did that with computing node so I could learn how it worked and kind of figure out how it grows and all that kind of stuff. It's pretty slow, because it starts with nothing, so it takes a while. Even when you're sending colonists over, it takes a while. But I do have 3,800 colonists, and they are destined for computing nodes, so we'll go ahead and colonize. I actually need computing node. We're at 13,000 pop and 8,800 workers, which... So we've got exactly the number of workers for the jobs we've got currently, so it's at equilibrium right now. I'm just going to send them over as pop, and then the governor can recruit the workers as needed for any new jobs that get generated. So we'll go colonize. Whoops. Colonize as population. Send them all. 3,800. 3,800. Oh, that's fine.
Affirmative.
All right. There we go. Increased by 4,500 after our 3,800 got added in. 17,000 pop now. That zeroed out my colonist supply, which is fine. Alright, so yeah, that's how it works. You can divvy up your zones however you want. The reason you would do that is anything 6 spaces beyond the zone's capital, you get a what's called administrative strain, negative reduction to your capabilities or your output for that region applied to your governor. So your governor gets a bonus, and he gets better as time goes by, and you get more and more output. So, for example, this oil well here, if we go look at the output, over here you can see administrative strain penalty minus 10%. Governor modifies metal production result with 40%. So we're getting a huge bonus, but then we're losing 10% of that bonus because of the administrative strain, which is how far away various resources are from the capital's location. Now this is a recycling center, so there is some metal coming out of this, not an oil center. But that's a problem. Administrative strain is an issue. So the fix for that is to chop up your zones into smaller areas. So I made computing node. It's a little bigger than it needs to be. I'll probably redraw the border and let this zone have like the northern half here. Might cut it off right here. But any hex assets more than 6 spaces away from the zone capital will incur a administrative strain. And that strain applies to everything because it lowers your admin benefit. So I need to get this basically reallocated. It's way too far away from Neutron Head. So we're, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We're like we're twice the distance that you would want to be. So I need to hand this off to Rorak eventually. But that's why you would set up different zones and cities. The other benefit is when you have a new city, you can start building the buildings again. So I can have another bureaucratic office and so on. So it enables you to do the low-level buildings in the early game, which could be important to get the like the 50 bureaucratic points. Would be a pretty huge bonus early game. But you're limited. You've got to raise the level of the city in order to raise the level of the assets, and it takes quite a while. So I'm not sure what you mean by that. Is it an actual zone of its own yet? Because, I mean, as you just saw, I hit colonize, and it had options for both sending as workers or sending as population. But it's got to be the actual city, the city center of the zone. It's not doing that. I don't know what to tell you. Alright, back to what I was trying to do. So I was looking at spending some points. I think, let's see, we got 6,500 recruits. Let's do... Actually, I've got plenty of points. Let's do it right up here. We'll do raise formation, independent battalion. I want some more motorcycles. I need scouting. Desperately need scouting. We'll grab a couple more motorcycle units. $5,500. Still got plenty of everything else. Raise formation. I don't think I'm going to raise any other large formations until I see what kind of a fight I've got on my hands. Ooh, tanks. I really should get at least some tanks. That way if I can catch any of his units on flat ground out in the open, we can overrun them. Any chance I can do tanks with an HQ? Ooh, I can. Can't get it fully formed. We're going to be short, what, IP? Got plenty of metal, so it's just the IP. If I wait around, next round I could do a full light armor brigade. That would be pretty nice. I think I'm going to wait. We're going to hold off. Try not to spend any of our IP beyond what we've got and see if we can get a fully formed light armor brigade next round. So we don't have one of those. I'd like to get one of those out and see how effective it is. Alright, so I don't think I'm going to build much else this round. I need to do a general round of taking a look at the different cities and seeing who's ready for which upgrades. So, for example, Neutron Head. We've got the second level BP office, and we're not high enough to go to the third level yet. Yeah, I can't do the third level BP office yet. I do need to start doing things like barracks. We've got a barracks 1 in there. I found that's really effective at population suppression events that occur.